First of all, who are you and what do you do?
I'm a short ball Korean. So that's definite.
Okay, we'll just start over.
Okay, hi, Victoria Felkar. Welcome to the show.
She's like, I want to go to bed.
You know, the doses that I'm using now are the highest doses I've ever used.
That those compounds and a whole list of other unapproved drug ingredients would no longer be acceptable for compounding.
I should tell everybody that we're in the lobby of the hotel right now. It just ended, and over my shoulder here, really over Chase's shoulder, who's sitting behind us, there's like probably about 50 people getting freaking drunk.
Most
now.
of them are power lifters.
Yeah. Powerlifters, they can tie one on. You know what I mean?
Powerlifters and your wife.
Yeah, and my powerlifters and my wife.
Yeah.
We needed a third mic for Chase. We should bring him in, I think, here. Because
You're going to make me give him my mic again?
Well, I'm going to share with him. That's why I brought this. But I guess before we do, though, I mean, so what is this? This has been a weekend-long event of people like Eddie Cohen, Stan Efferding's here, a bunch of other people who have been just freely sharing their information just for fun, just to help the community out, really.
It's pretty much top-notch, cutting-edge information about training, nutrition, contest prep, rehab.
Yeah. Everything
that you want to know, yet for some reason the bodybuilding community does not know about SWIS. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
That's why I think 80%, that's my guess, 80% of the people here are probably powerlifters.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say probably a good 80%. So John Meadows was involved with this, before he had passed. He was here for 2018, 2016, and before that. And I think that he brought more of the bodybuilding community here. And you could see, from everybody talking tonight, they gave out awards in memory of John. And that was kind of emotional. Eddie Cohen getting up there and just saying, like, hey, to even be thought of as in the same sentence as John. The level of humility that Ed Cohen has blows me away.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And John's a good ambassador, too, for SWIS because he kind of bridges that gap between bodybuilding and powerlifting. What would you power builder?
John?
a lot of his training is kind of bodybuilding / powerlifting.
He was really influenced by Dave Tate.
Sure,
so there's that. And Dave's here. Dave's basically him and Ken Connecton have put this thing together for everybody. And what is the slogan of Elite? It's live, learn, and pass on, right? And that's exactly what this is about. So it's a freaking cool weekend. It's literally super late. I'm tired.
It's late.
But we wanted to do something for you guys. And Steve is here. I was going to tell you guys that Steve got deported, but it didn't happen. So Steve's sleeping already. But let's bring Chase in. I'm just going to kneel down over here. Chase, you can sit where I'm sitting, and we'll just share this microphone. And actually, I'm going to tell a story, too, about Chase Irons.
Oh, good.
There we go. We can't fit us all in at once here, apparently. So, first of all, thank you for joining
Chase
us.
takes up a lot more space than you did
just
in that
have
chair.
him sit way back, and you sit closer to the front, and that makes you look better, Skip.
Damn,
That's the angle.
Get an angle here.
So I did bring 2 cameras. I just didn't feel like setting them all up. It was too much work. But listen, so I have a story.
His microphone doesn't work. I could just do this. What, is that awkward?
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
I'm just trying to help.
The first time that we brought Chase on, I did my normal intro, and I'm like, welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with coaches Skip Hill, Andrew Barry, and our special guest, Chase Irons. Chase Irons, welcome to the show. And he's like,
what's up, guys?
Yeah, what's up? And Steve said, he was like, Chase is you said it too, Chase is the chillest dude there is. And Steve was like, man, I wish I could be that chill. When he said that, I was like, I thought about my intro, and I felt like I'm a spaz.
I didn't think anything of it, but it's I am a chill person for sure.
I'm a chill person.
Everybody right now is like, yeah, he's pretty chill.
So you got a lot of attention this weekend.
A little bit, yeah. I said some things That's opened some ears and eyes. Yeah, it was fun. It was good though. Yeah.
How did you feel about being that open in front of this whole room full of people that like you really don't even know?
It was fun. I don't know. I like just letting people know how it is. I mean, it's what I do on my channel all the time anyway. So
is it any different though when you have literally like 100 sets of eyes staring back at you?
I mean, it was different live for sure, but it was just like, I don't know. It was, I mean, the way that it went down though was just like when I was up there on the panel with a bunch of other doctors basically, and Steve and a lawyer, and like we were trying to talk like a health kind of thing, and one of the doctors was like, what he said specifically, like, you don't have to take 3 cc's to get big. And
which is an arbitrary, I mean, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
Unless it was a shot.
It was just kind of like, well, clearly you didn't know, but I am taking 3 cc's a day. and so I was like, okay, I need the mic back to clarify this for the audience to be like, I'm not like one of those people that, isn't doing that. So I said that, and everybody was kind of shocked, especially Eric next to me was pretty shocked.
I heard Eric wants to do a Dutch test on you now.
He wants to do a lot of testing. Yeah, which is awesome because he's the man. Yeah. So
yeah, you do. That was like a great connection to have made because he is literally the man.
Yeah, no, he was telling me, he's like, if you get these done, send them to me. I want to see this because this is great. So but when we were talking about blood work, how Steve evaluated my blood work and everything looked awesome. He was like, can you do these tests for me? I want to see these and these and these because I don't have anybody that will do these for me right now. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Let me play Dr. Serrano for just a second, okay?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if when you said that, think about it, okay? You got. I don't think you'll take offense to this, but there's 2 meatheads on the steroid panel.
You and Dave Tate.
Well, there's 3. That's right. Yeah. But then you have
Steve.
the doctors, right? Then you have the doctors and everything. So if I'm Dr. Serrano and you had just said, well, I had Steve review my blood panels and they were really good, he may have been sitting there going, I want to see those blood panels.
Well, I was just saying it was all posted on Steve's channel.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's what we told him. But first, like before we even got to that, he was like, I know Steve posts blood work on his channel openly. And he pointed at me because he didn't know who I was. He was like, do you put your blood work out on your channel? And I was like, well, I give mine to Steve and Steve puts it on his channel. And so, yeah. So after the whole thing was over, he was just like, we had a conversation and he was like, I want to see all this stuff. So, I'll be DMing him, figuring out what to do. The Dutch urinalysis is what he wanted me to get specifically, but there were some other blood panels he wanted me to do. So,
being here for your first time at SWIS, what did you expect and how was it different?
Well, I didn't even know what it was. I was convinced to come here when I just found out who was going to be here. Like when I heard you guys were going to be here. I heard Justin Harris was going to be here. Stan Efferdine. Cass, Dr. Israel, I mean, there's just so many people that I was like...
The list was long, yet distinguished.
Yeah.
You get that reference? Yeah.
Distinguished. It was, I mean, so I went not even knowing, like, what was going on with, like, the seminar talks and stuff. I went just to meet the people. Like, I just thought it was, like, a big, like, fitness meetup. So I was just like, hell yeah, I want to go meet these people. So, and then we got time to like talk and ask questions with them. We're all hanging out in the hallway here. Like that was way more than I thought I was going to get.
And that's what Ken says.
Yeah,
that's
he was
a
awesome.
Big part of the poll because he says the symposium is more in the hallways than it is in the lecture room.
Yeah, for sure.
And the information is incredible. I think a lot of people don't really understand the level of information in these lectures. But then when you're able to step out into the hallway, there's 30 minutes roughly between lectures and where you need to be, it gives you a little bit of time to network, to be able to not only see people that you have seen online and meet them and, kind of have that one-on-one, but you also get to network. And talk to people that
meet people that
exactly.
Like Ed Cohen. I met him because of SWIS, and it's crazy to think now if I see Eddie anywhere, I can say hi, give him a high five.
At least now when I see him, I know who he is.
Yeah,
because there was last year.
He was our first big name guest we had on SWIS After Hours, which by the way, that's what we're calling this, SWIS After Hours. Initially, it was going to be this big thing with lights and stuff, and we do have the lights upstairs. But I was like, I feel like we're doing something wrong right now. I don't think that Ken ran this by the people who work here or anything. So for me to just start setting up lights and shit, I don't know if that would fly. You know what I mean?
We're kind of going rogue.
Yeah, this is kind of like a guerrilla podcast right now.
I may have just said something that negates my contract now with Elite FTS. It's a little bit of an inside joke. You have to understand it. I can't explain it, but
okay.
Yeah, the rogue reference.
We're
not going rogue. I'm kidding. We're not going rogue. We're going Elite FTS.
Only Elite FTS. Best quality equipment.
It was a bad
ever.
Reference.
You were the only one who thought it too.
Yeah. Well, unless Dave sees it.
Yeah.
Dave or Tracy.
Now that you spent 5 minutes bringing attention to the
and told them who needs to fire me. Tracy will be like, Dave, you need to fire that fucker.
I'll send this to Tracy. Check your inbox, Tracy. It'll be there in the morning. So, what was your favorite presentation?
You can say yours. If it's okay.
I thought I wish the steroid panel would have gone a lot longer. That would have been
Me too.
So much more fun.
Me too.
Yeah, that would have been so much more fun to go. I wanted to get to a point where people were coming up and asking questions. That's what I was hoping was going to end up happening. But yeah, we just ran out of time. But it was still a ton of fun. Yeah, that was. And I was so surprised they wanted me to sit up there with everybody because I was like, we got Steve, a bunch of doctors and a lawyer and Dave Tate. And I was like,
yeah,
are you serious?
You're in good company.
I think it was really cool though.
Yeah.
You represent an extreme thing right now. You're pushing things. I do, and Skip and I talked about this. You did mention at the end, you don't live your life like this on 3CCs. You're like, I got my wife pregnant, and now I'm kind of celebrating. I know this isn't what I can do for the rest of my life, but I'm doing it right now, and that's the choice I made.
Well, I mean, Dave, one of his last things was, he said, when he was young and doing things hard, he said, I didn't care if this killed me. I was doing this because this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to be I'm not trying to die while I'm doing this. This is why I do things the way that I do them, because that's not my wish. I don't have a death wish while I'm doing this. So it's
but you're going to get away with what you can get away with based on your blood work and everything, and push the envelope.
Right.
I respect that.
Yeah. So that was the point, to try to get across to the crowd. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know that in general, you've been somebody who has promoted. I don't want to use the word safe use, because I don't think there's such a thing as actual safe use. Yeah. We can try to work harm reduction.
Mitigate the risks.
We do try to mitigate the risks. And I think that you've been a proponent of being level-headed. So I'm going to put you on the spot then and say, how does your use and how that may influence some younger guy who's like, well, I don't want to look like a guy who takes TRT Plus. I want to look like Chase Irons, because there is that guy out there that's like, well, screw it, because we have we have had it where the message is get the most out of the least, and learn how to train, all that, and then I have had people in the last month or two that have said, well, no, that's not what Chase is doing, and he's getting huge.
I mean, yeah. I've been doing this and building up to this. It's taken me damn near 15 years to get to this point. It doesn't happen overnight. So, the doses that I'm using now are the highest doses I've ever used, and it's built up to this over, about 15 years. So, that's just it. You're not going to get big overnight. That's what my final point was at the whole thing was. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to get big in a year or 2 years or even 5 years for most of us. You're looking at 10 years of time before people think that you look like a bodybuilder. So takes time, regardless of whatever dose you decide to go with. And if you are new and you try to go straight to the doses that I'm doing, I mean, the first thing is you won't be able to, because number one, you won't have the muscle to find the spots to pin to do it all.
That is so true.
And then secondly, like, you're probably going to feel like shit and be sick, and you're going to have to stop. Like, you just won't be able to do it most likely. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, I think there's more to it than 3cc. As an example, there might be somebody listening who's thinking to themselves, 3 cc's a day of what? 400 milligram EQ?
Yeah.
That's like 7,000 milligrams EQ, and they're already drawing out of their vials. Yeah. So I'm not asking you to say, hey, what exactly what you're saying. That's entirely your business. But I think it's safe to say that you're not pinning 3 cc's a day of 400 milligram EQ, correct?
Oh, correct. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not using EQ. It's basically 50-50 test and master on at this point. So
see how I allowed you to say that because I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I figured I was going to say it's somewhere between 400 milligram EQ and like NOR 50.
Yeah.
So the old Mexican.
The max are the smallest.
So there's quite a disparity there. It's in the middle somewhere.
In the middle.
I like the 1-to-1, and so if you're at those doses, we can do the math at about a 1-to-1. What's the estrogen control like for that?
I mean, so far, so like I've been at this dose.
Here, I'll just give you a rest.
Oh,
you don't want me to have fun?
I can hold it.
Oh, okay. I was going to have fun. I was going to start doing this shit. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, I haven't gotten blood work on these doses yet. I've only been on this particular dose for about 6 to 8 weeks at this point. I was literally due to get blood work like this next week, which is what I was telling Serrano. So the last blood work that I got it's on Steve's channel. It was about 8 to 10 weeks ago, and it was on 3,500 test and 1,400 master on.
Okay.
So at those doses, my estrogen was like 125, and my total test was over 6,000. And I mean, everything's great. And the reason I kind of just switched things around, I just wanted to see if like how much it did adjust estrogen, if at all. So we'll find out here in the next week what kind of adjustments that makes, and go from there. So
I think it's safe to say that there's at least one or two people going, his estrogen level is 121. Oh my goodness. But here's a takeaway from SWIS from last year, and this is Dr. Serrano. He likes a 20-to-1 ratio of testosterone to estrogen. I love that. Do the math on it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Say 2,000 milligrams of test at 100 estrogen, or 1,000 if you're on TRT versus 50. I like that.
Yeah.
For most people, unless you're sensitive to estrogen, you're going to have some kind of, you're going to have gyno symptoms.
Sure.
It's a pretty good, and again, coming back to the benefits of estrogen not being too low, from sex drive to gains to metabolism, all the things that I think that a lot of people latch onto those negative things about estrogen. And you have to kind of take a different look at these estrogen numbers, especially when your testosterone levels start to climb to levels that you haven't seen or that you're not used to. Because a 30, 40, 50 estrogen number at 6,000, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of sex drive.
No, yeah. I mean,
the ratio more so, I guess, than the number. So I just, for anybody who was thinking, oh my goodness, 121,
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as I can tell, I don't notice any negative estrogen symptoms from being
Well, I
where I'm
texted
at.
your wife, and she said the same thing.
Yeah, I still annoy the shit out of her.
You got her pregnant? I mean,
I got her pregnant, yeah. It hasn't been an issue, but I was curious. Like, that was one thing that Steve said was, Steve recommended maybe bring the masteron up, bring the test down, and just see what happens. And, see if the estrogen comes down to, like, closer to 80. Like, not that we want it, like, back in range or anything like that.
Right.
But, so I was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. And I mean, it's basically the same amount of milligrams for the most part anyway. So, and switching to that, I really haven't noticed much of a difference in, strength, size, nothing really. So everything's going good. We just got to see how the blood work changed.
Well, so one more question for you. If SWIS happens again, which I think all of us are going to make a concerted effort to make SWIS happen again, because it's up to us at the end of the day, are you coming back?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, if they had a sign-up sheet to pay for it to come back right now, I would do it right now. Like, it was awesome. Yeah, it was so cool getting to meet everybody and see everybody and shake hands and talk to them.
Is it primarily because, I would probably be here. Okay.
Mostly because
I appreciate
That's the only reason I came. That's the only reason I came.
I appreciate you guys being on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here to see the legends of Skip.
All right. Well, we appreciate you stopping in. And if you want to keep hanging out with us, man, we'd be happy to have you here. I wanted to ask Skip about his training next.
All
so
right.
you did some training, right? In fact, you and your client Tommy here got some. Would you guys train? And Chase was there too.
A little bit of serratus, anterior tibialis.
Little anterior tibialis.
Yeah, a little bit oblique. We're only on the left side.
Little left oblique.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to split it up. So how does that even work with your training schedule? Because aren't you? You told us.
You want to go down this path, don't you? Yeah,
I mean,
gotcha.
I didn't even think of it either.
Yeah.
But you think so? If you guys don't remember, if you don't watch Blood, Sweat, and Gear,
or you
I'm
just
sure
don't care. It's okay.
Yeah, or if you don't care about
Yeah.
Skip. Hey, by the way, click like if you don't care about Skip.
Wah, 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 wah.
And for real though, when we talked about your training plan, which is training 1 week on, 1 week off, that allows you to just go hard for a week and then basically get awesome recovery for an entire week.
Right.
And then be able to basically the take home to me was it allows you to train the way you want. It allows you to train hard still and be recovered. It sounds great on paper when you think well, on that week off, I'll just go to places like SWIS. I'll go on vacation. Yeah. But I guess it doesn't. Life doesn't always line up on every other week, and that's what you're finding now.
Yeah, I'm finding that out. We trained yesterday. We trained arms.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a typical session because I don't want to say we were fucking off, but we were having fun. So we added a little bit more volume and that sort of thing. But there was 4 of us. We had a good session, right? It was a good session.
Yes.
Triceps are fucked.
But that's what happens with this 1 week on, 1 week off thing. And this is something that didn't occur to me from the start. There are going to be weeks where I have things and I need to be out of town. And then there are weeks where I'm going to be at home. And so far, my training schedule has aligned with being out of town. Yay.
Yeah.
So, it would have been nice to not have to train this week because I'm here.
Yeah.
But instead, I have to keep everything. And I can't skip a session because if I skip a session and then I do it next week on the week off, then someone is going to see me in the gym and go, wait a minute. This is your off day, or this is your off week. You're not supposed to be training this week. And same thing with the O, because I'm off. I'm home next week, so I could be training the whole week without any obstacles.
But then you're going to go to the O and not
off,
train at all.
And then the O the next week.
Oh.
Yeah, because I have a client in the amateur, so that's Tuesday, Halloween.
Okay.
I probably will come back for the expo, and I have to train that entire week. And then the week after, when I have nothing to do and no travel, I'm off again. So, yeah, it's the scheduling thing and the psychological part of it is kind of tough. It is tough to not train for a week. But here's the caveat, and this is important. The progress is every bit as good as it was when I was training weekly, if not slightly better. Now, it hasn't been long enough for me. It hasn't been, 3 months yet.
You could always kind of fudge it, too. I mean, I know that's not ideal, but, what if it ends up being, a long weekend away? Maybe you didn't train for 5 days, and then you train for 5, and then you take 8 off. You know what I mean? And get back on track.
But because I'm so black and white,
OCD,
arguably OCD, and I want to be able
autistic.
I also want to present to people and to the people who are interested, both sides. The people who have been supportive and the people who have been like,
you want to show up. You want to show everyone up.
And they would be the ones that'd be like, you can't train arms on Monday when you get back because that's your week off. So that's why I trained arms here. versus waiting until I got back. It would have been a lot easier to wait until I got back.
Yeah.
Chase said that it's working great.
Chase said that was the most, because he showed up, he was there, you guys all trained together. He said that was the most triceps he's ever trained in his life.
Yeah, he had a hard time hanging. Oh, shit, he's still here. I'm sorry. I thought he was on his phone. I didn't think he'd hear what I said. No, he definitely did not have a hard time hanging.
It was fun, though. It's nice to just do a random freaking workout. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is nice sometimes. So, when's Tommy competing?
Not until next year. He's not very big yet.
Yeah? What is he weighing?
He's got to get bigger. Like 290?
290?
No, he's right around, what, 240?
About 80% of Chase.
Exactly. All references for weight and size are going to be compared to Chase right now.
What was your favorite event of the weekend here?
Anything with rehab.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I think, too, when they were talking at the end about how they need to focus more on the younger demographic, that's going to be hard to do, I think, because a good part of this symposium is how hard people train in the rehab based on the injuries that you... And look, 20-something, I call them kids because I'm 53. I can call them kids.
Yeah.
So if anyone's 20-something and I'm calling you a kid and you're offended, I guess that's the way it goes.
It's just because Skip's old.
It's because I'm old. I have kids older than most of the people listening, or some of the people listening. There is not that appeal for the 20-something when such a large part of the symposium is about rehab and injury prevention and working through injuries, because when 20-somethings get injuries, they last like 2 months and then they can train again.
Yeah.
It's just not the same thing. And I know that because I was a 20-something and I dealt with injuries and they didn't last very long. And then when you're older and you have the same injury, it takes a lot longer to recover. So the part that was the most appealing to me was the rehab stuff, the lower back stuff, the neurological talks and stuff, which quite frankly is so advanced that sometimes you start the lecture and you're like, oh my, this is incredible information.
Yeah.
And as the lecture goes on, it starts to go out of your wheelhouse. It's kind of like when Dr. Scott Stevenson is talking and he starts using really big words.
Yeah.
And you're like, can you dumb it down a little bit?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't say that to the presenter.
Yeah, and you might not get all of it, but if you hang with it long enough, you kind of figure it out. You know?
And there were huge takeaways. There were takeaways from every lecture that I sat in on. And some of it was being reiterated or I was reminded of from being here last year as well. Plus, I can go back to the videos.
Yeah.
I can purchase. Anybody can purchase the videos, so you can go back through and because I know the first lecture I sat in that morning, it was good information, but I told Tommy I was working too hard to hear the presenter.
Yeah.
He wasn't very. His voice through the microphone, the PA said it wasn't carrying very well.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to that video to pick up on more of that information as well.
My number one, thank you for asking,
You're welcome.
was getting to see my wife. I mean, she freaking killed it. Like, she was incredible.
Well, I think she pays more attention to you in situations like this than she does at home, right?
What do you mean?
Like, you guys get to hang out and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
she
actually
talks
like get to
you,
hang
she's
out and
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
And this is her wheelhouse.
Yes.
And this is like her Olympia. It really is.
She's a celebrity, really.
Yeah, she kind of is here.
And it's got to be, honestly, isn't it? It's flattering, right?
It's
You're proud
cool.
of her, yeah.
I'm so proud of her. Like,
I was proud of her, and I'm not
I think I
sleeping
almost
with her.
started crying, when she got up there.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I got kind of emotional.
Sure.
She accepted an award today for what was the term?
It's a Lifetime Achievement.
Thank you,
right?
Lifetime Achievement Award, and she deserves it. Like,
She
and
isn't
she's
even old. Old people usually get Lifetime
Right?
Achievement Awards. She's that good.
But she loves everything about SWIS, and she's made so many lasting relationships here. I mean, we met because she met Scott Stevenson, and then Scott. I found out you don't even know the story of how we met.
Well, that's funny because when she said that you guys met through Scott Stevenson, I'm like, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know that story.
Yeah, so she was a guest on the show.
Right.
It's literally how we met.
Oh.
Literally, the first time I talked to her was I hadn't even talked to her with voices. Like, we texted and on Instagram or Facebook to set it up, gave her the information, told her what we wanted to talk about. And the first time we ever spoke, I was like, and she went on, we were already rolling. So Scott and I talked for like 10 minutes, and they were like, all right, now let's see if we could bring Victoria Felkar in from British Columbia. Hey, Victoria, how's it going?
And you're like, Oh my God.
So that kind of grew. It grew.
That's cute.
It definitely grew, and then we brought her back for part 2.
Yeah.
And then she came back again a little while
For part
later.
7.
Yeah, that's really what it turned
Part
into.
12, yeah.
That's what
she
it
was
turned
on
into.
every week.
No, she didn't want to go that far. She's too busy,
Right.
She's too busy doing her own thing. But yeah, it was cool to see her, and she also built off of her previous talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was like 60% of the people that were here had been here to hear her talk last year, so that allowed her to not have to just go over the same stuff.
Well, I would say this even if you weren't sitting here holding the microphone, and I'm serious when I say this. Of all the lectures that I heard over the last 2 days, she was easily the best presenter from a speaking, presenting, articulate, knowing her information. It's like very polished is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I notice things like that. I mean, I notice when the back of someone's T-shirt has the word stability spelled without an extra I. Yeah. Like you not only took that, you had the idea, you put it on paper.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I've got the picture. Yeah. And I mean, that's not fair because he may be watching it going, oh, well, now Skip's a dick. But you're wearing a T-shirt. First you had it printed.
Yeah.
And didn't know. The printer didn't know. Didn't care, maybe. Then you got the shirt and still didn't know, and you wore the shirt, and I saw it, and I was distracted by from the presentation by the fact that it was spelled incorrectly. I noticed those things is what I'm saying.
I would want to know who printed that, because I would hope I'd get a call before they printed those off. You know what I mean?
But they would probably say we're not responsible.
No, of course they would.
We print what you tell us to print.
We thought maybe that's what you wanted.
And then they probably giggle when they walk out going, that dumb bastard, somebody's going to notice that's spelled incorrectly. But anyway, my point is her presentation, incredibly articulate, very polished. It's like she has presented 200 times. And she probably does present a lot.
She has.
Yeah.
Literally all over the world.
And the cool thing is that she went long. She went like another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But nobody was moving.
Yeah. And it worked out because it was the end of the day.
Yeah.
I missed a bunch of stuff this morning. I was just freaking toast.
I didn't come out of my room till noon.
We missed some stuff today.
I know.
There's literally only so much I could handle, though. Like, my brain would only soak up so many new ideas. Last year, you guys have heard me talk. By the way, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to comment. We'd be happy to respond to you here. But last year, Serrano had talked about the high vitamin D. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking real high levels. Yeah. And I started doing it literally a year ago last week, or this week, after talking to him about it. And I did that up until recently. I started backing it down. I started doing the red light now to replace some of the D that I was using. But one thing I didn't know is I still need to run extra vitamin K to offset the D that I'm now creating.
Right. You get a lot of D though.
Oh, I get so much D.
You do,
so much D.
You? Yeah. Like I was gonna pass that up. You guys probably saw it coming down. You saw it coming down the tracks like as soon as Skip
every
gets
time
a moment
I talk about vitamin D, I wait for it. It's in the back of my head. I'm thinking about it, and I don't ever say it.
I can't get enough D.
But I knew when I was with Skip, if I was with Skip, it had to come out.
There was a question from Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Asking if Skip upped his melanotan dose.
Do I look darker than you?
Holy shit!
It's the lighting.
Look at this.
Because I'm not Skip dark right now.
I actually look kind of tan next to you. My blood pressure's probably up or something. But I mean, I would have expected myself to look a lot pastier than this. Yeah. This is
not my usual Skip color.
No, I'm not.
Well, that makes you white.
Yeah.
That's why Steve's so white.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, feel free to keep commenting and asking questions. And who's to say which podcast are you talking about on which channel?
With Victoria.
Oh, okay. That was somebody asking somebody else something on the live stream. They're having their own conversation. People are tuned in, and they're just talking to Chase now.
No.
What's going on the stream there, Chase?
Somebody asked somebody said the podcast you did with Victoria was good. Somebody said, what podcast are they talking about on which channel?
Oh,
you guys do a podcast with Victoria?
Yeah, it might have been the old ones. And that was on Advices Radio.
Yeah, it would have been.
So, yeah, Scott told me, he was like, hey, I know this woman. She's really bright. I met her at SWIS in Toronto. It would be cool to have her on. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. But that's how that went.
Think about what could have happened right there. That was a turning point. That was a metaphorical fork in the road, right? Had you said no.
Yeah.
Really? You'd be sitting here single? Maybe gay. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying if you did, if you were, that's cool. But that's a fork in the road. You could be, maybe your girlfriend or... Are you married? This is bad that I don't know this. No, you're not married. You are married.
We're married.
When is this? Like within the last year?
No,
Oh, I know why I don't know, because I didn't get an invitation. That's what it was. Yeah, my bad.
We had...
Because I mean, then I might fucking know you're married. I don't know, but anyway.
We had 6 people at our wedding.
Okay.
We had 6 people at our wedding.
6 people, and I was not one of them.
Right.
I'll just hold out hope for the funeral, I guess. I get to carry you. I guess that'll make up for it.
Yeah, so it was on Advices Radio, though, which you remember Advices.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're actually using the label.
What do you mean?
Advices.
Advices Radio?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good channel. We did a lot of stuff.
Lucas says you brought Victoria to the podcast this year. I think It's Just Bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah, she was on...
well, she was on Blood, Sweat, and Gear, though, not long ago. Maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, she did great on It's Just Bodybuilding. It was like more of a laid-back episode, and she just like shot the crap with us.
Oh, okay.
And we had fun with it.
Oh, you mean what you don't let me do anymore? Yeah. Yeah, I'm very clear on what that is.
We can have fun.
It's like she just said, no, I just don't know what that means. You don't like me to digress.
But we got to get the content out first.
You don't like me to be discursive.
Okay, I'll make you deal with you.
Okay.
We can have fun. I would like to have more fun.
Okay.
I think the show needs more fun. But we gotta do our work first.
Aw.
You know, we gotta
it's like when your parents tell you gotta... No, I don't like
If we tell the people that we're gonna talk
it's
about...
a bad deal.
If we tell the people we're gonna talk about IGF skip, or we're gonna talk about skip loading, or whatever else it is, we do that first, and we do our work first.
Okay.
And then we can talk about our cats.
Okay, everybody heard what he said. All 7 of you.
We got a good little following here. We got a few people. We got 61 people watching live. Why are they not in bed? I don't care what time zone
Saturday
it is.
Night. In California, it's what, 10? Yeah.
10, 9.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's 9 o'clock in California right now. So I guess there's that. What's up, people in LA?
I did not know that Vigorous Steve, has 8 cats.
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
8
that's
or
new.
7.
8
7?
now.
Oh, 8.
He had 6, and then he got 2.
2 more.
The 2
foster.
are but they're outdoor cats. So they're not
outdoor cats don't count.
No, they're not.
Yeah, he said they're outdoor. He has the 2 latest ones.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, we got go wake him up. We got it. Yeah, I'm sure. Go wake him up. No,
he was tired. Otherwise, he'd be sitting
So
here.
they're all hairless sphinx.
That's right.
So the outdoor cats.
Wait,
No.
all of them?
They were.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know all of them were.
The
Okay.
outdoor cats were feral, and he got their shots for them, and he put collars
Okay,
on
then you
them.
got to keep them outside.
Yeah, and in the neighborhood, like everybody feeds them, but he has the neighbors on like a feeding program where they're only allowed to feed them like 1 ounce. And that way, if all the people he knows feed them 1 ounce of meat or whatever per day, then those cats are getting like 7 ounces of meat, or whatever they're supposed
He's
to
a
get.
dedicated cat guy.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I was pretty impressed. I did not know, because, I thought I was like king. I have a passel myself. I have a clouder of cats.
Is that what you call it?
Well, for cats, it's a clouder. A passel can be anything, but
Okay.
like a large group of something. But clouder is definitely specifically cats. And I have 5, so I have a clouder.
I learned something that was totally not part of the seminar today. That guy, Will, do you see him standing over there, the Asian guy? He's standing right by that statue.
Yeah, he's got a blue jacket on.
No, he's got a T-shirt on.
Oh, I can barely. Yeah, bald.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's Chase.
Yeah. And he's
On the
3
couch
feet
right
from
in
you.
front of me. Exactly.
3 feet away.
So he works with all sorts of UFC guys.
Okay.
And he's worked with a bunch of celebrities and stuff too. And he basically helps fix people's bodies. And he asked me about my breathing. And he taught me how to breathe through my back. People have been telling me, and that's what I did. So Chase just went like this. Like his back just lifted. You go to breathe through your back and it's like this.
I thought you're supposed to breathe now through your stomach, right? That's what because when I was younger, it was you're supposed to lift your rib cage, and then they were like after I was old enough, they're like, no, we were wrong about that. You need to breathe through your stomach. Yeah. So now they're saying back. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying what's next.
Do you think I could get him over here for a minute? I bet he'd be.
I bet he'd be.
Would you mind asking him? You see who I'm talking about?
Because I can move out of the way.
So, we'll get him to tell him.
But that's the cool thing. It's like Chris Duffin.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had worked with every baseball team.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's
so you want to talk
pretty
about
impressive.
a good move? He's gone out of his way to talk to their managers and gotten his bars into their gyms. So
is that right?
He's worked his way in. Like that's a smart move, you know.
Yeah, but
He was telling me that last night.
every baseball team.
Yeah,
That's 32. Is that right?
Yeah.
All those baseball players, they've got shoulder problems. Like all the pitchers, every single pitcher has a shoulder problem. So you get that, and this is not.
He talked him into it.
Yes.
I hope he lied. Like maybe said it was a really important. Here, I'm gonna step out of the way.
Will, would you mind joining us?
I'm gonna give up my seat for you.
Okay.
Ken Skip Hill.
Oh
my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Skip loading.
Thank you very much.
Skip.
I appreciate that. Oh, damn.
I know who you are.
God, XOXO.
Would you mind joining us for a minute? I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
So, first of all, Will, welcome to the show. You're on live with Think Big Bodybuilding Media.
All right.
And I was talking to you earlier. First of all, who are you and what do you do?
I'm a short ball Korean. So that's definite.
He's honest.
I'm a third generation martial artist that follows that lineage of Chuck Norris from my grandfather.
Hell yeah.
And basically, I reversed engineered martial arts. So most martial arts is how to dislocate an elbow, how to break things. I reverse engineered it to make it stronger, to make people more resilient as athletes. Bodybuilders even. I work with a lot of powerlifters, bodybuilders, CrossFitters, you name it. Spec ops, military, all sorts of people. And I've added martial movements that matter.
Okay.
Because whether you're defending against a person or a 700-pound barbell, it's still a fight, right? And if you're a little off, you're off by a mile, right? So precision matters too, right? Not just force. So that's what I do.
Let me ask you, what is one of the common issues you see with bodybuilders?
With bodybuilders, because, and it depends on the trend, right? You know, I've been in
Did you say trend?
trend.
Thank you. I love that.
That's awesome. So I gotta watch it now. But you know, and I've been around bodybuilding for a long time. I knew the first East Coast rep for metrics. So he, you know, like we're talking like Troy Aikman to, you know, the first metric shake, which were two separate, right? Like we're all old school
Jeff
guys,
Eberson?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew all those guys. I knew Johnny Moran. I knew, you know, like all the old time bodybuilders and so forth. But the biggest thing I see is because they do so much repetitive motion in usually one plane of motion.
Yes.
The trend of machines, which I'm not against, right? It's a tool though.
Right.
And if you misuse the tool, you got a problem. And what happens is, and I work with a lot of bodybuilders who literally, I'll give you a perfect example. So, and I trick bodybuilders. So like on chest day, right? I will program incline dumbbell curls specifically. And, you know, bodybuilders are like, why biceps on my chest day, right? But when I have them line up on an incline with their head aligned, their arm dangling to the side, what I do, and this is what I learned from Larry Scott, is wrist curl, shoulder drive, and you get that nice stretch. And then you drive the elbow so the lats, the serratus, the obliques go just to curl that weight. And they do this for a couple sets. Then they do any of their chest motions. Fly, bench press, a hammer, it doesn't matter. And they're like, this is stupid. I was like, well, what's going on in your program? They're like, my numbers are going up. And I feel good and I'm not injured. And what I did is I tricked them into articulating the body to align them to better flex to stabilize their shoulder for any machine or free weight. So the biggest thing is most bodybuilders try to flip a square. What I do is I round out the edges and let them roll the ball to make life easier and better.
Now, in fairness, most bodybuilders aren't terribly bright, though. So,
No,
I mean, it is like working with a 3-year-old sometimes.
But that's why I trick them. That's why I do the incline dumbbell curls. And if they trust me enough, they do it. And then they look at the results and they're like, what the, you know, and they see it, you know? And that's something I talk about with a lot of people. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. So Larry Scott, right? His big thing, there's a big misnomer with the preacher curl. So his big thing was, even in his 60s, he was challenging guys at seminars that he could out wrist curl 225 more than anyone in the audience, right? So, like for reps, right? Because he did it a lot. And it's specific. It's really low, and his ass has got to be lower, so that way he can kind of leverage the weight, right? So there's a trick to it. It's not a trick, but you know what I mean. So you got to know the magician's secrets, right?
Right.
So that being said, like if you really are suffering in arm girth or mass, right? And I've done this experiment. I actually talked to Josh Bryan about it and so forth. So one of the things you do is you warm up with some wrist flexion, just to warm up, right? And what that does, it warms up your upper body. So it's great because this is the furthest point from your center. So if your Wi-Fi is strong at the furthest point of your house, your Wi-Fi is good throughout the whole house. So it's a good warm-up, first off, okay? Second off, what you're doing is when you wrist curl and you compress that core, because this is chain 1, this is chain 2, and you compress the core to initiate the wrist curl, then you have to drive the elbow down. So that's why Scott's curl was fat. It wasn't a flat preacher. It was really fat, like this, with the leather. And what he would do is he would friggin' go like this, and as he wrist curls, he would drive his elbows into the pad. So if he had the pad long enough, you'd develop these little pivots in it, right? And this would stabilize the shoulder enough to use a ton of weight. Do you see? So it's a cushioned and compressed version of an arm blaster.
Okay.
So an arm blaster is poor because it's just, you're like, your neck is frozen, your arm is frozen, you don't have a good range of motion.
And it's compressing my chest, too. I'm all pressed.
For some people, it's going to cut off the nerve.
But they sold a lot of them.
Of course. Arnold
sold a lot of them, yeah.
But the real thing is that Scott bench, which you don't see much of anymore. Right?
I agree.
But if any of these manufacturers see this, you should start reproducing that if you want to make money. And you guys preach this, if you guys spread the word, and you actually try this, and you warm up with wrist curls before upper body or arm day, you're going to notice, I'm gonna throw it out there, maybe a half-inch growth on your arm. If you start just with this neural connection, and then do your normal routine.
Well, I need more girth.
Right. So, you know,
In my
they say
arms.
girth
What is so
matters.
funny?
You know, I'm Asian, so I can only go for girth.
Yeah, I mean, I was clearly...
That's why I'm an expert in it.
We've got a very immature audience over here.
Hey, I'm right on my alley. Right on my alley. So does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And I've been thinking about, I'd learned from him about breathing through my back because I've been bound up basically, and just all my breaths are just like shallow through the chest. And me breathing through the stomach has just been like, it's been a reflex of like my stomach just hanging out. So it's not like good breathing. Right. And when I go to breathe, it's like all right here and down here and none of it through here. And everybody's telling me, breathe through your back, breathe through your back. He gave me one cue and all of a sudden,
I'm listening.
I can do it.
Okay. I say, because I'm listening. I breathe through my stomach.
Yeah, but so do you want to feel? So this is how most people breathe. So I'll take your hands.
Wait a second. Okay, cool.
Put it on my
kidneys. This is going to be fun.
So feel like put your hands up against my kidneys.
Okay, just like this?
Yeah, just flat.
Okay,
so
just my hands.
Just your hands. Okay, just the tip, guys. Yeah. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. So most people breathe, and this is how he was breathing, is so you don't feel much movement, right?
Right.
But the way you should be able to breathe, and also for if you're going to squat heavy, deadlift heavy, right? Intra-abdominal pressure, right?
Oh.
You feel his back.
You feel it.
Yeah.
Popping
But
out.
the reason I looked down because I didn't know if your hips were coming back while you were doing that.
No, you feel the key.
But I feel the moving.
Right, anyone can feel it. I let anyone do it.
Okay.
But the key there...
You're not special. I felt it too.
We both felt it.
But do you see the key is dropping the breath?
Rib cage stacks.
Right. So that is intra-abdominal pressure, right? But proper intra. Because if you only go to the front, but your back is tight, that's what I call half alive, half dead. And that's going to lead to hernias and hemorrhoids.
Damn, I got both.
So
what the fuck? This guy's good.
You want this 360.
He knows me.
Yeah. How the hell?
Think about it. You're like a spring. If I press down on the spring, or a Swiss ball, you know, when you press down on it, it expands circumference. That's what I'm teaching you to do so you don't deform. You're deforming because you're bunching the back up and you're bubble gutting the front or the side. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So when you do that, then you're going to increase your capacity. But these are all things that people don't understand. Like even my bodybuilders, like I always meet them where they're at. That's why I'm like, hey, incline dumbbell curls. So it's like, you already do cardio, right? It's like, yeah. The elliptical is one of the easiest forms of cardio, right? So I tell people, make sure your feet are straight judged by the outside edge, so it's going to be slightly pigeon-toed, meaning if you put your foot up against a book or your foot looks like it's coiling in a little. So you know how the ellipticals have that little U pad, so you can use that as a gauge, right? So it's going to be slightly pigeon-toed. You're going to sit like you're on a boat, right? And then you stay level like this. And you close your mouth and you only nasal breathe, right? You do that, you're going to be like, what the... Can I curse on this podcast?
A little bit.
I do.
All the time.
Yeah.
WTF. How about that?
Rules.
Right? And your whole point is to stay level. Because you're wasting kinetic force by doing this.
Yeah, but it's easier that way.
Of course. Right.
That's the point.
But do you want more efficacy? Because instead of doing like 40 minutes, would you rather do 20 minutes and get more impact in terms of your metabolism?
Right.
Your quads will start burning because you're keeping this level, and it'll also mobilize your hip better.
Okay.
Because you're cycling your hip this way instead of bouncing up and down. So that's good because it's reminding your hip to rotate and circulate. And that's what's really important. I forgot who was talking the other day. So they were talking about, one of the presenters was talking about somebody's tricep. And they go, oh, you need like a arm bicycle, so forth. But they even have those stupid spinners that Matt Frazier, the CrossFit guy, was saying was his secret weapon when he was coaching people. Which is on Amazon, you get it for $110 and just do this. But that's because it's reminding your shoulder to ellipse.
Okay.
So when I'm working with UFC fighters, so the last one I was working with, I was talking to Brian Ortega, and it was like 10 p.m. at like his kickboxing gym. And he's doing ground and pound. I'm saying, no, man, again, linear force, right? I'm saying you got to be an automatic weapon. You're shooting one bullet at a time. So I said, rotate. And I was showing, bam, bam, bam. And his buddy was there, and I was like, come on. And then once you rotate the shoulder, then you got to articulate the hip, right? I go, I thought you were Latin. Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get some moves.
And his buddy was watching from the old neighborhood. He was there, and he goes, don't you see what he's saying, bro? You know, because I was like, you ever play foosball? Because the foosball men are like your hips. You got to flip your hips. So Brian wasn't getting it, and then when his friend goes, foosball, homie, foosball. Yeah. So then he was like, oh, yeah. He goes, bro, I see. Because he thought I was just like a coach, but he's like, I see you. You got some skills. I don't tell people that I'm an accountant. I do numbers. But these are the kinds of things that will ensure your longevity. And that's what you're looking for, right? That's the key. You guys, we're all aging now. So we want longevity in our practices. You're still going to practice some type of bodybuilding lifestyle. You're still going to cycle your carbs in some way. You're still going to manage. You're still going to lean up certain times or bulk up certain times. That's natural, but just not to the extreme that you did when you were in your 20s.
Right.
So that means you have to be smarter, not harder, right? Because you already did the hard to that.
And if the younger guys can figure it out now, they may be ahead of the game by the time they do get older.
Correct. And that's where you guys come in, because you have the wisdom, right? So now, when there's no depth, you have to compensate with dimension. And I think that's really important. So
we appreciate you taking the time. Do you work with people? Can you, if people wanted 100%. To reach out, anything like that?
100%. I don't have a website. Everything's all word of mouth, and it's usually a referral. Right, that's my business. But I am on Instagram. I've recently made it public as opposed to private because I don't really post that much. So my Instagram handle is Willful Muscle, @Willful Muscle. So it's @WILLFUL Muscle, MUSCLE.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you stopping over.
Yeah.
My pleasure, legend.
Very cool.
And he knew about skip loading.
Of course.
See, I think that's what makes the podcast successful is when we bring in people who are smarter than we are.
Oh yeah, we just let them do the talking.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know if anybody
bigger,
noticed,
like Chase.
Like anytime someone smarter than me is speaking, and I'm going like this, and I throw in like a absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself.
I don't understand what the fuck they're saying. Like there's me and then there's them.
But you're like, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very well said. Yeah. I wouldn't say it any other way.
I think I thought exactly the same thing. It makes total sense. Things like that. Those are things I say when I don't know what the hell they're saying.
It kind of his thinking though really opened my mind up. And I've been trying to figure that out, like that breathing
I didn't
through
know
the back
what it
thing.
meant. Yeah, like back breathing. How do you? But then it's very clear now.
And I thought I was doing it right because I had my hands on the steering wheel, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I get it," because I could breathe that way. But it's like my upper back. And then I met Will, and he was like, "Oh no, you're breathing up here, you know." And I could feel it because when I try, I get shorter breath, and I go. And I'd feel like I'm going like this. And no, it's just that cue is just, I feel like you're pushing the sides out.
And I didn't know he had any type of connection to UFC or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
I was going to grab his ass.
Oh, dude.
And then I found out later he could have
up.
just fucking turned
Dude,
around.
he could have beat us all up.
Exactly.
He could have.
Or gotten one of his friends from the UFC to
just
punch me.
yeah. Excuse me, are you Skip Hill?
Yeah,
you know?
and just punch me. And I don't like to get punched anymore.
No. Was there a time you did like to get punched?
No, but it didn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, do you think we should bring anybody else in? Well, I mean, they're still sitting over there.
Let's see if we should bring anybody. Can you guys move the fuck aside for a second? Oh shit! The look on Tommy's face, like.
Well, I was thinking we got to get these guys in here, but we also should we bring anybody else in? I don't want to bother Victoria. I feel like she'd be happy to come on. But
if we need Victoria, I should ask her because she would probably say yes to me before you.
Well, I was thinking you could talk to her.
I don't know what the hell to say to her.
I mean, you know her.
I know, but I
could
told
ask
you
her.
There's my intellectual ability.
You don't have to ask
I'm
her
good
smart
with
stuff.
words, but that's about it.
Your interaction with her is funnier than my interaction with her.
Yeah.
We have like
sometimes she doesn't think I'm very funny, Scott.
She always laughs at you.
She laughs, but women laugh just like to be nice.
Chase, when we first were like the first night, it was super late. This was funny. We were talking to Skip, and we all got on the elevator, and Skip was on the second floor, and Victoria and I are on the fourth floor. And you know how sometimes the elevator stops, and you don't think about the floor, you just get off of the elevator? So it was Skip's floor. So Skip and Victoria both walk off at the same time. Skip just looks at me and goes, see you tomorrow, man. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
And then Victoria, without saying anything, are like, oh my God, just quietly circles around and gets right back on the elevator. It doesn't say a word.
It was late.
It was pretty funny.
But it was hilarious because they both walk off, and without missing a beat, Skip just turns around and goes, we'll see you tomorrow, man. Oh, crap.
What's great, though, is like what that guy just did that was stuff we were learning all weekend.
Yeah.
It's like random things.
Yeah, it's like this much of what we took in over the weekend. And that's that comes back to what we were talking about before and how important this is, because if they're talking about not reaching, like this being an antiquated method of passing on information, live, learn, pass on, we're sitting here going, no, this is gold. A lot of people don't know because they're not here. They haven't seen, and if they don't know about it, and that's why they're not here, they don't even know that the videos, all of this is available in the next couple of months online, just like it was for last year. They can, anybody listening now or anybody who knows anything now about SWIS and is curious about, they can buy the presentations from last year and review. And if more people did that, they'd be like, oh my goodness, like I gotta check this out. That is just that right there. Talking to him about that breathing is that little part of everything that went on in from 8:30 in the morning until 6 for the 2 days in 6 or 7 different conference rooms.
Yeah.
Where you pick where you want. It's like, oh, this one doesn't strike me. Oh, this one, I got to see this one.
Yeah. And
then everybody's jammed into the steroid panel, and no one's in any other conference room at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they want to know about the steroid panel.
The steroid.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's fascinated by that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring your clients in. Do they both work with you?
No,
just Tommy.
Just Tommy.
Work with you?
Yep.
All right. Well,
their wives are watching.
Let's bring them both in. we want to bring you guys in.
Oh, okay.
We want to know. Should we just bring them both in at once?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. I've got this mic. So Skip, where are you? Oh, look at that. Skip's like in the back, and your mic still works.
I think you can even see me. Oh, and my mic does work. I was actually paying attention to that because I thought if he's speaking about all that important stuff, and I'm like breathing into the, you know what I mean?
So who are you guys, and where are you from?
We are from the Chicago area, northwest suburbs. We're just meatheads like everyone else, I guess.
And what's your name?
I'm Tommy John.
I'm Nick Kemick.
And you guys came down here together, and you work with Skip, right, Tommy?
Yeah, Going on almost 4 years now with Skip. It's been terrible.
I'm sorry.
Feel left out, Nick? Because if you want to work with me, I'd work with you. I mean, I'm not trying to hard sell you or anything like that.
I said I would.
We'll put you on the spot right now. You want to sign up now?
Yeah, you sign up right now. I'll give you my
Teamskip.com.
Venmo.
You go to teamskip.com.
Exactly.
So I want to know from both you guys really quick, though, what was your highlight of coming here? Number one.
You mean as far as presentations or just the highlight in general?
Yeah, just your highlight in general.
The highlight in general is things like this, where we're all spending time together. We all are like-minded, and just having normal conversations with these people that we do really put on a pedestal. And when you realize they're just normal people, it's extremely humbling, because we see them as so much smarter than us, which they are. And we've looked up to them for a really long time. So to be able to just sit and have a normal conversation with them, it's just, I guess, humbling, and it's just a really good experience for me.
Hell yeah. And how about yourself?
Yeah, pretty much going off what Tommy said. I followed a lot of these guys for years and years and years, from like doing powerlifting and then to bodybuilding. Like Skip especially, I watch your guys' podcasts all the time. Never expected this at all. But then to actually see everybody like in person, like meet everyone, like physically shake somebody's hand is it's hard to describe, but it's pretty amazing.
And another question I had, same thing that I asked Chase. What did you not expect? What was this that you didn't think it would be?
That didn't think it would be?
Yeah, what happened here that you didn't expect at all?
The hallway thing, like people actually getting away from their seminars and actually talking to face with people. And
was there one person in particular?
There's a few, like Justin Harris, talking to him, talking to Vigorous Steve. So I mean, yeah, it was a few of them.
Oh yeah. Awesome. And how about yourself, Tommy?
Yeah, I don't mean to be redundant, but really the same thing. I mean, just Nick and I have been doing this for almost 20 years. So to meet these people, have normal conversations with them, everyone says hi when they walk by in the hallway, and just things like that. It's just, I wish everyone could experience it, really.
Are you leaving?
So you even got guys like Rick Collins.
Yeah. And then Rick Collins.
These are the OGs, right?
We got Rick OGs. Collins
just
right
walks
here.
by, just,
Well, would you guys mind if we brought Rick in? If he joined us for a minute?
I want to be very clear that neither one of you were monetarily compensated for this, right? Okay, thanks.
I was a little.
Teamskip.com. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. You want to sit down with Rick? I'll just stand over here. Rick, you can join us over here for a minute, if you don't mind. We appreciate your time, man.
When you're walking by and you see Scott McNally, you come in and you say hello.
I noticed your shoes
brother.
because I notice everyone's shoes.
Oh, your shoe guy.
Those shoes, yeah, oh yeah.
You like these shoes?
I buy my wife shoes all the time for her.
Should I give a little?
I love them.
All right, thanks, brother. Yeah, they're cool. They're comfortable. That's the key. So, good experience, everybody.
Yeah, you and I have to share the mic here. So
let's do it.
I wanted to ask though, how was SWIS for you this year? What was special about 2023?
So every SWIS is just amazing. The panels are every year. It's just amazing. The panelists that I work with, Victoria, everybody else, every year it feels like coming back to family. I hope that this is not the last SWIS. That's the concern, and hopefully, of all the events, and I do a lot of conferences, this is the most special one in a lot of ways. Ken Kanakin runs he hosts the most amazing experience. It really, it's not just the presentations, it's the family feeling in the hallways throughout.
Sure,
it's
absolutely.
the sense of community. So I loved it. I did a co-lecture with David Sandler. I think we did the first time. I'm not sure anybody's ever done it before, but we served wine during the course of our presentation. So we opened up a couple of bottles of wine and served it to the audience as part of the presentation. And that's the kind of thing you're not going to do at the more traditional events, but you can do it here because it's like it's just a cool vibe and it's a cool family.
Right.
So I loved it. I'm looking forward to the next one. This was my fourth. I'm probably the only lawyer lifter that's here. I appreciate everybody. I've been in the gym culture since, I was a bodybuilder, competitive bodybuilder before I was ever a lawyer.
Right.
So it's in my blood, it's in my DNA, and to be around so many amazing people, Eddie Cohn. I mean, in the past it's Bill Kazmaier, just incredible icons to be here.
Yep.
It's just the most amazing experience, and I love it.
Well, I don't know if I can come off. Don't come to me after that, because I'm just sitting here nodding, going, I completely agree with you. I've only been here 2 years. Yeah. And I see that community, too, with this only being my second year. And I know I'm going to be disappointed. Can't imagine how you feel if it doesn't continue. I'm hoping, and I really do think that it can. I think that it can continue. I posit that it's not about, and this is just me, that it's not about reaching the younger demographic. Maybe we just need more of the same demographic. And the reason that I say that is because when you get into the 20-something demographic, they don't deal, like half of the symposium is about rehab and injuries. Well, you're not getting, now it's not a bad thing to be, to try to prevent injuries, but try to get 20-somethings who don't have injuries, or they have an injury and they're over it in 2 months, where you and I would be battling for 9 to 12 months. So I think it's a tough sell. Well, so maybe we just need more. We just need more of the same demographic. Maybe it's a marketing thing.
There's definitely a lot of people out there. But listen, while we've got Rick here really quick, we've had Rick on a bunch of times on the shows, but for anybody that doesn't know, Rick Collins, steroid lawyer, as you're known as within our legal muscle
maven.
So one question I did want to ask is the peptide thing. Yes. That's all changing. And I heard a couple talks where people were even saying, like, well, you can get these peptides from your doctor, but I think those talks might be a little bit outdated at this point. Am I right? What's going on with our BPC and everything else?
So everybody's been asking me about TB500 and BPC 157 and what's going to be the availability, because FDA came out in a nutshell with an announcement that basically said that as of today, as of September 29th when they came out with it, that those compounds and a whole list of other unapproved drug ingredients would no longer be acceptable for compounding. Oh. So if you can't compound them, then doctors are not going to be able to get them for the purposes of prescribing. So a lot of people have been very upset. Obviously, anecdotally, people like BPC 157 and TB500. Maybe not a lot of research, not enough research that would satisfy FDA's typical phase 1, 2, 3 clinical trials. Mm-hmm. More anecdotal, more bro science maybe. So from FDA's standpoint, they're like, we don't see the science on this, so we're not going to allow you to do it. What's going to happen? Well, I think some compounding pharmacies will stop producing these products, and some will continue. So we're still in that kind of place. But I've already been getting calls from folks who are interested in meeting the demand with their supply in the research chemical, quote unquote research chemical business. And so there's a few people who are calling my office like today saying, I want to do a consult with Rick. I want to really expand my research chemical business. And so that's going to happen. And, from a harm reduction standpoint, and Scott, you and I have talked about this in the past, I think as a matter of social policy, you should always favor harm reduction. You should always favor making it safer for people to do things that they're going to do anyway. Prohibition didn't work for alcohol when we, outlawed the sale of alcohol. What happened? Certainly alcoholism is a problem, and we don't want people, laying in the alleys drunk. On the other hand, we created Al Capone, we created bathtub gin, we created far bigger social problems by criminalizing the sale of alcohol than if we had regulated it in a more sophisticated, nuanced way. And I think that's really the answer. So when we do that with either anabolic steroids or SARMs or peptides, we actually escalate the potential safety dangers and hazards. There's less control over who's getting them. Right. Doctors are no longer involved. Big pharmaceutical companies under good manufacturing practices no longer involved. Suddenly it's kitchen chemists importing products and making them in perhaps unsanitary conditions. So, sometimes the government, while it may mean well and may mean to reduce harms, it actually escalates the harms.
Creates more, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, Rick, we appreciate you stopping by. We know, too, I mean, you told me you've got thing after thing lined up. After this, you got somewhere else. Where are you going next?
So I leave here. I change my clothes, take a shower, repack a bag, head out to Supply Side West in Las Vegas, where I'm giving a lecture on dietary supplements and sports supplement regulation. Be out there for a few days, come back, and then of course it's Mr. Olympia weekend, and I'm giving 2 different panel discussion presentations at the Olympia, and then come home for like a couple of days, and then it's Silverback Summit in Austin, Texas. Allie Gilbert running what should be my first Silverback Summit. Should be an exciting, fun thing to do. So and then Thanksgiving comes, and I'll be home, be able to spend a little time with family and relax a little bit. That's the plan.
Heck yeah! Well, we're glad we got a chance to see you again. As always, man, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, brother. Always great to see you.
Very cool.
Awesome. Good seeing you guys.
Rick Collins, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Man, it's so cool to get a chance I always feel so cool to get a chance to talk to Rick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. You think we get Victoria on here? Maybe you want to talk to her. I wonder if we got any other questions here. Do you guys have any questions for us? Oh crap! There's a lot going on in the live stream here.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. The government loves sticking their noses in where they know nothing about.
So not pro-government.
Yeah, no. I don't think if you guys are anti-government, then click the like button and leave a comment.
Like and follow.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe.
We didn't even tell people to subscribe. You know that? But do you think, Chase, that if people are watching this, they found this live stream, I think they're pretty much already subscribed. Yeah, you know what I mean? We didn't advertise this thing at all.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We got the wife over here.
Yeah, and after that, could we bring somebody dumb?
To make you look
if
smarter?
You don't mind. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, is I'm the best you got. Everybody else is either going to be substantially bigger than you or substantially smarter. She figured she's been in college now. No, they don't use the word college in Canada. Sorry, university. Yeah. For how many years? 16 years. Somebody asked us tonight, he said, how do I don't want to go to school. I don't want to have to figure all that out. What I want to do is just learn how to read labs. I just want to learn how to read labs. And he's a younger guy. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, it's like, well, he came out to eat with us. And I was like, well, hold on to that question for a minute. I'm hungry. Yeah. But then my thought was she went to school. Like when Victoria analyzes lab work, it's an all-day thing.
Sure, I don't know.
It's not just like, is your T3 in range? Mm-hmm. No. Okay.
I can't even ask her if she's had a good day without knowing I have 20 minutes afterwards because she's going to explain everything in depth.
Yeah. Victoria, we need you. We're bringing you in. I'll do a skip. I'll come back here.
Okay. Or I can.
Yeah. No. You stay there. Yeah, this will work. Victoria Felkar, thank you for. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's past my bedtime.
It's past both of our bedtimes. Yeah. How was your weekend here at SWIS?
Excellent.
And congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you. Such a surprise.
I think it's impressive for somebody who's only 17. How old are you?
Just cameo. There's Chris Duffin. There's Chris Duffin walking by right now.
53. So to me, you could be like 20. I don't know. How old are you? I know
Come over
I'm
here for a
breaking a
second.
rule.
Yes, we are.
I know. I'm not
We're live
supposed
right
to
now.
ask
I've got Chris Duffin with me. We have
you
3
look very
conversations going on, so it's not
comfortable
really
right
official
now.
podcast. Okay, but yeah, this is live right now on YouTube.
Well, last time I saw you,
had
I
a couple
completely
drinks
bombed your
tonight,
podcast.
Victoria? Oh, you are tired. I'll be damned. I thought you. Oh, I thought you had.
It was good. You
glasses
told
of
us all
wine.
about the importance of
this is gonna
barefoot
be
and
fun.
everything else.
I'm
This is happening live too right now,
That's
so I don't
cute.
know who's hearing which
Yeah, I
conversation.
know I'm not supposed to ask,
but I
so I
just
don't-
want
you
to stop
just-
you and say
you
hi
just-
really quick,
you're
man.
young.
Yeah, and thank you for the great talk
young.
today.
Like
That
to
was
get
awesome.
a lifetime achievement award.
It
You're,
wasn't.
years younger than
Yeah,
Scott.
it was a lot of
I don't know how
information to
old
go through.
Scott
in a
There you
short period of
go.
time.
but I'll
I didn't
accept that.
have
That's
really any other
probably
option 'cause I couldn't do
24.
a piece
I
of
don't
it, so
know.
Yeah,
but I've got all the following on stuff. So
University skipper.
I
was
know.
it
You've
was
been
it too
in,
much info?
You've
Like,
You've been in. So
I thought it was.
Math here.
Well,
Yeah,
hold on, 'cause
I'm not
they're on
very
mic
good with
too.
math.
Actually, he's on mic, so this is kind of screwy.
88.
So
No,
yeah,
wait.
so I got confused, but I just saw you.
You're
I went to
asking
say
me.
hi.
I'm 53.
And make sure that we got Chris Duffin from Kabuki on.
I graduated from high school.
I'm
in
sorry, guys, I
88.
messed that
No
last
shit.
5 minutes up.
Oh, I was 17. I was 17. This is not going to go well.
She was not on. She was not on microphone.
Oh, is that right?
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Well, maybe it was coming through mine. I don't,
Was that question?
none of it was, yeah. So basically, I was talking to myself and your mouth was moving.
And Chris Duffin was responding back here. I just wanted to say hi to him really quick because he walked by. We couldn't not say hi to Chris.
Okay, we'll just start over.
Okay, hi, Victoria Felkar. Welcome to the show.
She's like, I want to go to bed. She's so tired, she's going to start crying.
No, that's making me cry.
I don't even know what I missed here.
Skip
Well, I
just,
accused her of having a couple drinks. We'll start with that.
Skip just had a skipism.
Oh, man.
I got to experience it firsthand.
She really is crying. What did you do to my wife?
He makes me cry too.
Oh God, no! Like you actually are. That was hilarious. I don't know if we'll have to talk about that later, but
I'll watch it. I'll be able to rewatch that on the replay.
You're going to want to edit it out.
oh God,
Well, it's live, so there's
Yeah,
that.
there is that.
how do you get through Wednesdays?
He doesn't let me talk very much.
Oh
That's what-
God,
Okay, so anyway,
you are
though.
funny.
Thank you.
Like I get it. I get it.
I get it. Can we pull it together?
Oh,
You all
yes, we
right?
can.
Deep breaths through the back.
Yeah,
Through the back.
got it.
So I just wanted to, though, I did want to say congratulations. And that was a really emotional moment for me, getting to see you accept a Lifetime Achievement Award. How did that feel to you? Because I know how much SWIS means to you.
There's no words.
Ineffable.
It was like 7 years. Your life can change so much in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That I was here for my first time, and I did not know. Well, I knew people. I fangirled over everybody because I was like, oh my God.
Right.
But I knew John, and I knew Eric, and I knew Dave, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken took such a risk on me. Like, he vetted me because he asked Dave and Eric and John, but brought me on, and obviously it went well because I got to come back.
Yeah.
But it's just wild to think that in that period of time, I opened the conversation about women in steroids, women in androgen use. That wasn't done before that.
Right.
Talking about things like menstruation cycle in the fitness industry, contraceptive use, that wasn't done.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done a lot in 7 years.
Love you guys.
Bye.
And now you're one of those people.
Yeah, it's just
Like
wild.
you were looking up to them. So many people now are listening to you, looking up to you
And
with
it's just
reverence. And
It's just absolutely wild to me. It's like I just don't have words. It's really, really hard to, because I just think about, even just like we think about women in androgen use, like, if people can get their hands on that original steroid panel, there was some magic that happened that night, because you see all these men talking about like their prostates and testicular shrinkage, and me just sitting there like, and I literally just was like, I don't have a prostate. I don't have testicles. Like, what about me? What about us? What
But
about
that's
women?
a deeper conversation. I mean,
and that was in a room.
Maybe
that was in a room full of 300 plus people.
Right.
Like, you could hear a pin drop. Because I was like, no, this is the problem. If you're only talking about men and men using androgens, like, we got a problem here, and that's why they wanted me up there. And I really truly believe that since then we've now started. I know it's slow and it's going to be slow.
Yeah.
But we've started to get consciousness. We've started to have conversations. People are actually talking about this thing.
Well, I had a good conversation with you, and I had a huge takeaway from it.
Yeah.
It was the 3-inch.
Oh my God.
Hey, look, I'm learning. The estrogen content measured by the inches of the mucus plug. You don't have to go into it.
Plug.
Well, the
cervical mucus.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, and I appreciate it.
Cervical mucus.
That's the difference. We have
when you can stretch it more than 3 inches, you're in a high estrogenic environment.
Wait a minute. 3 inches.
3 inches.
Oh, someone's lying to me, man.
Well, I'm tired, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It was a. I'm a guy. It was a visual takeaway, and I listened to your presentation, and I'm not going to tell you that I was impressed with it because I said that earlier to Scott, because I was. But there were a lot of takeaways, and I listened to you speak last year too. So you piggybacked off of that. There were a lot of takeaways. But the conversation that I had with you, first I asked you about endometriosis, because I related to that because of my wife's situation, having her hysterectomy so early in her 30s. But then that estrogen thing.
Yeah, it's a fun little trick.
Brain. Yeah, exactly.
It's a fun little trick. Like, there's so many nuances that we don't talk about. And that, yes, Scott will put me on YouTube when I'm ready. But I'm not ready yet.
Well, what I hope to do is maybe a couple listeners, just a couple, will go to their wives or their girlfriends and want to offer that.
The test.
Yes, the test for the amount of estrogen to stretch that cervical mucus. Right? I mean, I'm gonna. My wife's not watching. I'm gonna.
Ken wanted things like just one thing that you could take home and do Monday morning.
Yes, that's
there you go.
thing.
That's the thing. That's the thing you took
Probably
home.
Sunday night. Yeah.
Sunday night.
Yeah, I get home Sunday afternoon.
There you go. That sounds good. And your talk was awesome. You had a lot of people that were here from last year.
It was like 75%.
It was like what?
75%. When I asked the audience like who was there last year, it was like 75%.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I was like shocked. I was not expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for it because I was going to be building on last year, so I was like, oh God.
But is that, I mean, I see where you're going, but wouldn't it be better even moving forward if that percentage was like we were able to bring in more people who hadn't
If I had
been here
2
before and
blocks.
hadn't heard you?
Yes, if I had 2.
And I told you
I
it's a
need
good
to-
thing you were at the end.
I
because you
need
had
to
go
build.
long. Oh, yeah.
If every time I go to an event, I'm doing menstrual cycle mechanics, difference between the follicular phase and the luteal phase, how are we going to move forward? We're not.
Right.
So either
That's a good
we need
point.
to have some prerequisites podcasts to listen to before you come to SWIS, or we need to have 2 rooms and 2 sessions for me. One where I can do beginners and one there I can do advanced.
But they can, let's say you changed everything next year. SWIS happens, it's huge. Yes, you build on it, but you have new information. They can still go back and purchase the videos.
That's what
correct?
that was my hope for this year.
Yeah.
That's why I took a risk.
Yep.
Because we need to progress the conversation.
Agreed.
Because if not, I would have just recycled slides.
Right.
And I would have saved 3 weeks of my
and I'd
life.
have busted you.
I know.
I'd be like, oh my God, oh, I'm bored. That was a yawn. It was a bad yawn.
And what did you learn this weekend?
Did you go to other presentations? I know.
Oh, that's right.
Remember,
you spent the whole
she's
time
kinda
teaching other
next
people.
level, yeah.
She really
I
did.
get stuck in the halls. No,
She's
I
not
tried to get in
down
rooms.
Oh,
And then you get stuck in the hallways.
right, because people want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You learned something
That was
in this
your talk.
experience. You took thank you very
That
much.
was more obligatory, though.
Yeah, she had to. She had no choice.
You have to support him because he supported you.
I
I
didn't
mean, you know how this
have
marriage
to.
thing works.
I didn't have to. I wanted to.
Well, I'd hope so. Plus, she helped me put it together.
By the way, I do have one more question. Why was I not invited to the wedding? Scott gave me a shitty answer, and I don't understand. We're close. It doesn't 6 people. That was
How many people were at our wedding?
We had 3 for each side.
Okay,
Immediate family only.
That's better. But who were the 3 on Scott's? Were they cool?
His mom,
were they funny?
His dad, and his sister.
I thought about nixing her from the list. We didn't even bring her. We didn't even bring her significant other. Yeah. If we would have, I would have nixed him and brought you, Skip. I would have.
Then I feel better. Thank you. I'm glad I asked you that question instead of his answer. So.
We had this idea that we were gonna have like a reception at like the Arnold or something where we just get like all of our friends because they'd be all together in one place.
Would I have been invited to that?
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
No.
But we just never did it. Like we just were like,
You can only
man,
invite
whatever.
4 people.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
How's your mingling going? Because in case people didn't know, there's still people. Well, they're starting to thin out there.
It's quieting down a little bit, yeah.
It's quieting down, but there's still a bunch of people
I'm pretty sure
over
it's
at the
because
bar.
Victoria left.
Probably.
They're like, well, I'm going to bed now.
People are just like hanging out and still talking and learning, and they're drinking a lot. Are they drinking a lot over there?
Yep. Oh yeah. That's why I was like, I just sat. I was just catching up with Zoe. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was good.
She's like, let me go to bed, Scott.
And I heard Zoe drink a lot last night, so does that mean she didn't drink a lot tonight?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, correct. I think some people, like, that's the thing about SWIS is it's like, what makes it special, and this is where I'm like, see how this goes in the next couple of years, but people let their hair down. Mm-hmm. People that usually have to be like, they let their hair get down. And that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they touched on that earlier too. But the hallway, the lectures are great, but the hallways
it's the hallway.
better.
I've said that from day one. The hallway. I had like in the hotel in Mississauga was great because it had like it made this hallway look like child's play. Like it had like mazes through it to get to the room, and there were chairs everywhere. I don't know if it's always like this or like Ken got them to put a ton of chairs up.
Right.
But it was so amazing because there was only one elevator that you had to go to. So you had to walk down this one hallway to get to it. And Dave and John sat in chairs like this. So you had to pass them to go to the elevator. And it was awesome.
See, we had a good strategy here, right?
Yeah, on accident, but still.
Yeah, no, because it was awesome because like they were just like these like 2 mayors of SWIS, welcoming people, asking them, getting like talking to them. I sat there for 3 hours. I was trying to get up to my room, which is what SWIS is. Like you just don't expect to go up to your room because you're not going to make it.
I thought the John Meadows Award was cool.
It was great.
I thought that was great.
It was really,
I think
really
that's pretty cool.
That was.
I'm trying to explain it, but
it's legacy.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good way to.
No, I think we all want legacy.
Yeah, to be that respected in your community, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And to see the way Ed Cohen responded, getting it, man, that was. I mean, he was about to lose it, and just to think, and that's what I mean, man. Like his level of humility, to think that. Because he was like, man, to think of even being compared to John.
Yeah.
But then you think of
someone
like
half his age.
Yeah, and think of everything that Ed has done.
Yeah.
And I think of him, and I couldn't help but think of his. I did some research on him when we were going to interview him on It's Just Bodybuilding, and I started finding all these videos and pictures of him in the early '90s, like '91. He had tigers, dude. He had legit full-size tigers.
Monkeys.
Really?
And monkeys. He had tigers that, like, there's a video of him, like, holding a cub, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's my tiger when it was a baby. And then I just asked him again about it tonight, because I told him, I was like, dude, you're up there accepting that award, and I thought to myself, the only other people I know that had tigers were, like, Mike Tyson and Pablo Escobar. You know what I mean? Like, that's some 80s crap right there. Like you're hardcore. And he was like, yeah, the tiger, said the tiger's name, it would sleep next, like we'd take naps together. I trusted it 100%, and I had to, because like if he couldn't show the fear, and he's like, and I'd wake up and it would be licking my head. And on tigers' tongues, the pores are reverse because they're made to be able to pull meat off of bodies. So he was like, you just feel this like scales just like ripping at your skull.
He lives in Florida, I'm sure.
He's in Illinois.
He had a tiger in Illinois?
He had multiple tigers.
Is he still there? I met him at Quads.
I think he's
still there.
He is.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is not very many states allow you to have tigers. We're crazy in Florida. You can pretty much have anything.
Unless you're Ed Cohen.
I guess unless you're Ed Cohen, exactly.
He had monkeys too. One of them was named Kurt Cobain.
You're kidding me. Oh, man.
Should we wrap this thing up here, Skip, pretty soon?
Probably. I think there's only 3 people left.
Yeah.
In the.
Yeah,
two of them appear to be passed out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Victoria, for coming over and spending some time with us.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you coming to SWIS. I'll see you next year.
That voice.
Victoria Felkar, thank you for joining us.
I love you.
Goodbye.
All right. I think I am getting tired. I don't know about you. This is like
I'm getting there.
This is usually when Skip wakes up. We still have 47 people hanging with us.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. Chase, was there anything other questions, or I mean, we didn't really evoke any questions, I think, here.
Not really.
Although we sold Deca Beats. He said that his ticket is punched for next year.
Nice.
He's going to join us. So that would be sweet. If any of you guys, if it happens,
I'll be here.
I'll be here. There's no question. So
Chase said he'll be here. He would have already signed up, is what he said before he even left.
What's your parting words for SWIS 2023?
I just hope it happens next year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it will. To be honest, I do. I think it will. I think that they will find. I think they'll find a way to make it happen.
If it used to be every other year.
I heard that. Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they did go back to that, give themselves more time to plan. Mm-hmm. But I like the every year as far as keeping it consistent.
Yeah, it's routine.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I haven't been up this late since probably, honestly, I've probably
last
been
up.
Night? Yeah, right. Last year, but then I forgot about traveling.
It's a long weekend, but it's a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's worth it, man. I'm glad. And I'd say everything was my highlight. Like getting to hang out with you again.
Yeah, get to hang out with you. Get to hang out with Chase. We haven't hung out before. Tommy, Nick coming down. Victoria. I always like to see Victoria. Get to hang out with Vigorous Steve.
Yeah.
That's the first he gave me a hug.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think he was excited to meet me as I was to meet him. Yeah. I did not expect that.
No kidding.
I expected him to be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Like being like kind of like standing cool.
No, I don't mean it like a arrogant thing.
Like European.
I just figured he just didn't give a shit. I don't know. You know what I mean?
For the record, too, that Steve would be with us if he hadn't been deported. ICE took him away just shortly before we began recording, and it was an absolute shame.
It was sad. It was chaotic.
Yeah, it was really crazy, guys.
Yeah, it was actually kind of desperate of you to hang on to his ankles while they were taking him away.
I cried. I was like, no, bring Steve back.
Yeah.
We have to record a podcast.
Cop kicking you in the head to let you let go. I was like, God,
it was wild.
It's pathetic.
It was wild. We tried to get it all on, but I didn't have the equipment set up.
We'll try to get him out in the morning. I think Rick said
yeah, that's why
help.
Rick's going to take care of it. We got the right people. Yep. We got the connection. Yeah. So, hey, we appreciate everybody who's tuning in with us. Literally it's 1:15 in the morning.
But it's only 10 in California.
Yeah, and it's even earlier than that other places.
Yeah, it's like 7 a.m. in the UK. If you're listening from the UK, good morning.
Yeah, hey, good morning to you guys. No, for real, we appreciate you tuning in. Anybody watching on the live stream, this is going to go away real quick, and it will be back. I'm going to re-upload it, so hang tight. We'll put it back if you want to rewatch anything. And for real, we appreciate you guys tuning with us, hanging with us. I'm splurring my words.
Your words, yeah.
I'm splurring my words. How do we close this? What do we say?
This is your area.
If you're tuning in for the first time, follow Chase Irons, follow Skip Hill, follow me, Scott McNally. I don't care if you follow me or not, but we would love you to subscribe. We have a lot of content that comes out constantly all through the week. And thank you to everybody, by the way, who watched the reaction video today. that thing is getting. Skip, I got to tell you, man, we put out a reaction video on it first, just bodybuilding. We watched some blood and guts. It got like 4,000 views in the first few hours. It just buried everything else we did this week.
Wow, that's awesome that it was the other podcast.
Yeah. We'll have to come up with some other fun stuff
we
like
will,
that
won't
too. Yeah. All right, we appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you being here. Thanks. All right, got 2 thumbs down on that. So
that's all right. Fuck 'em.